Welcome to our webinar, Free Trade Agreements and Unlocking Opportunities in LATAM Markets, Chile and Peru. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas. My name is Tamara Ollarse, and I am the National Trade Policy and Research Manager at the Export Council of Australia, and I will be hosting the session today. We're delighted to bring you this informative and practical webinar, where together with our wonderful guests, who I will introduce in a moment, we will discuss the trade opportunities for Australian small and medium enterprises, SMEs, who are doing or intend to do business in LATAM markets, such as Peru and Chile, and the impact that free trade agreements that Australia has signed with both countries have on business opportunities. We need to thank all of you who have registered to participate in this event. We are overwhelmed by the interest in our free trade agreements FTA online training program and these webinars, which shows that Australian businesses are eager and willing to explore business and export opportunities in other markets, including Chile and Peru. We hope you will find the content and discussion useful, and it can support your export journey moving forward. Please note that this webinar has been recorded, so you can access it in your own time and pace. We will be sharing the bios and contact details of our guest speakers at the end of this webinar. This webinar and the FTA online training program has been developed by the Export Council of Australia, ECA, with the support of Austrade through an FTA market entry grant. Due to the changes that COVID-19 has imposed in the way we deliver our courses and training, we have moved our offering online to enable businesses like yours and others access this important content from different places around Australia and beyond. We have a lineup of fantastic speakers that are joining us from different geographies, including Australia, Chile, and Peru. Let me introduce you to our speakers. We have Ms. Diane Tipping. Diane is the chair of the Export Council of Australia. Diane has a long and varied career in international trade promotion and facilitation, and is passionate about supporting Australian exporters succeed internationally. Diane Tipping is the founder and managing director of XCON International Pty Limited, an export management consultancy business that focuses on the management of export and international projects on behalf of Australian exporters throughout the world. During the past 20 years, Diane has worked tirelessly with the Export Council of Australia and various other non-government and government agencies to teach and encourage exporters to achieve their goals and ambitions in a safe and secure way. Thanks, Diane, and welcome. We also have Paula Moreno. Paula is the Trade Commissioner to Chile to Australia, from Chile to Australia since December 2015, and is part of ProChile. Paula is a marine biologist with an extensive background in generation of regulations and standards associated with sustainable trade and public policies at local, national, and international levels, in government agencies and environmental non-for-profit organizations. Before her current posting in Australia, Paula was the head of the Department of Sustainable Trade at ProChile, headquarters in Santiago, which had a strong focus on supporting socially and environmentally responsible SMEs. Welcome, Paula. We also have Mario Vargas. Mario is the Trade Commissioner of Peru to Australia since 2017 and part of PROM Peru. Mario is an intercultural consumer behavior counselor to companies interested to get into international markets. He has working experience in different sectors, including non-metallic mining, agriculture, agrochemical, handmade product, textiles, among others, in different countries such as US, Israel, Russia, Indonesia, and Australia. Mario also holds an MBA from the Universidad del Pacífico in Peru. Thank you, Mario. We're also joined by two fantastic business speakers. Let me introduce you to Mr. Andrew Panjanobong. Andrew is the CEO of ProNature Foods. Andrew has a background in IT sales and marketing and has worked in Australia, UK, and Europe, and also traveled extensively across South America. Andrew is passionate about food and is now in the food business. And he believes strongly that food can provide many health benefits and should be enjoyed by everyone. Welcome, Andrew. Finally, we have Carolina Echenique. Carolina is a recognized entrepreneur and founder of Tika Chips, a Chilean enterprise. Carolina is passionate about innovation in food and has over a decade experience creating and commercializing healthy and innovative food under the Tika brand. She's a serial entrepreneur and recognized for her ability not only to start new businesses, but to turn them into successful ventures. Carolina is joining us today from the Patagonia region in the south of Chile. Welcome, Carolina. So if I may ask now our speakers to introduce themselves briefly and tell us a bit and the audience about your business, your organization, and what you can share with us. May I start with Diane Tipping from the Export Council, please?
Thank you, Tamara, and welcome to everyone that's watching this webinar. I'm very proud to be talking about the Export Council of Australia. The Export Council, so next slide, please. The Export Council is a peak membership body for companies involved in international trade. It is a profit, and we're very proud. We were established over 60 years ago, and we have been supporting companies to grow internationally for all of that time. The work that we do has changed a little bit. Initially, it was about skills development and building up capacity and capability, but we do so many other things now, and I'm so proud to talk about some of those things very quickly today. But we achieve all of this with a really great team, including Tamara, who's your host today, and the ladies behind the scenes. And we do this in many different ways now. As I mentioned a minute ago, we develop international business skills, which is still our core, and I still suggest that we're the peak industry body to do that. We build Australian business capacity, we conduct international business research, and we do that because it's important for other organisations to understand through the trade area how some of those things that they are involved in work. So for instance, we have recently done a research project for IP Australia, and that's really important that IP Australia and other government organisations and businesses and stakeholders that we work with very closely understand from the trade perspective, from the actual user of the trade systems, how their offerings and their services work. So very proud of the research work that we do. We actually believe that we are helping to break down the barriers of trade. We have a number of business units, ECA Edge, and we're happy to provide more information to anyone that would like to know. But the ECA Edge business pillar is an influence on governments and engagement in global forums. And we need to look internationally and not just talk about Australia when we talk trade. Our trade policy and research area is informing Australian trade policy. We need to talk and understand from our members what are the issues and concerns that they have when they're dealing in the trade arena. If we don't know that, then things cannot be presented to, we need to advocate. We need to go to government and advocate on behalf of our members. We find that's probably one of the, it is besides our skills offering, it's one of our most important tools that we can give to Australian exporters, because getting that information allows us to go to the governments, the stakeholders, the different people involved in trade, and try and get answers and results and systems that may be able to improve and enhance the capability of all Australian exporters. Business and membership development, but it all works together. You can see these pillars all work very closely together with each other. Our business and membership development is where we get our advocacy from. It's where we develop our skills requirements to meet the seller's requirements. We again, I'm going to say, we help to break down barriers to trade, and we build global networks. Skills development, I won't talk too much about this because I have said that that's probably our most important offering at this point. We have many years of experience in skills development. Right back from the very beginning, that was the purpose of our establishment over 60 years ago. And as I said, it's really, really important for exporters to understand not just free trade agreements, which is the purpose of this webinar, but to understand the tools that enable you to enhance and use those free trade agreements to the best ability that you can. They're there, they're great. The countries that we have those agreements with are really beneficial both ways for imports and exports. They're both very, very important, Peru and Chile, to us today, to understand through this webinar, what are the benefits of working in the LATAM market? Thank you.
Thanks so much, Diane, for that interesting presentation. And can I please ask Paula Moreno from Chile if she can tell us a bit about your work?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak a little bit about the connections between Chile and Australia. Next, please. Well, first of all, Chile, it's a very long country and with with a small population, but with different climates. So that's allowed us to produce several different type of food along the country. Next, please. So we call this like a land of contrast, essentially, from the desert in the north, ocean, ice, and very cold weather where Carolina at the moment it's here. It's connecting with us. Next, please. So about a little bit of ProChile. Next, please. ProChile is a government agency in charge of, our role is connecting Chilean suppliers with international demand. We have 16 local offices working with the producers and more than 50 offices worldwide connecting with the demand of the importers. Next, please. So that allowed us to give a little bit of connections. These connections are made essentially through a business agenda, online business meeting, research tools, and so on and so on. Next, please. So connecting Chile and Australia. The connections has a long history for these two like-minded nations. We have a very old free trade agreement, essentially started negotiations in 2006 and then coming to force in 2009. So we already have 10 years or a little bit more of economic connections. And I'd also like to add an additional agreement, which is the double taxations, to avoid double taxations between the country, which is very important for Australian and Chilean companies. In 2015, essentially all tariffs were eliminated. So we have already 5 years of no tariff at all. Next, please. According to a study of 2018 with data of 2016, the Australia-Chile Free Trade Agreement has the highest utilization rate in total of 95% in comparison with the other free trade agreements. So it's very important. And if you can highlight the agriculture and food sections, at that point reached the 97%. So it's a very well-known free trade agreement for exporters in general. Despite of that, we are facing, we don't have tariff, but we do have some phytosanitary and sanitary issues at the moment. So that's the major focus of the last time. But we have the good and excellent news for this seminar, that Chilean fresh avocados are allowed into Australia. So if you can see some data in this year, so essentially in September, you can find information about the possibilities to get into the country and import fresh avocados, which is an icon for Chilean exporters, because we are not allowed for fresh fruit in general into Australia. So this is it's a milestone. And you can see as Chile is a very big producer of avocados with 200,000 tons of avocados in the last year. And our major markets are, of course, Europe, the US, UK, and China, and Argentina. Next, please. And in terms of numbers, I would like to highlight the evolution along the years. So I took this series of, so in red, you can see the total exports in the US in millions of US dollars. So the scale of the right, it's essentially the numbers in total. But when you want to focus on food and beverage, that's the graphics in blue, we can see the trends of increasement along the years, because the other one is a little bit overlapping with the mining sector. So copper, it's our major produce of the country. So that's when you want to see within the numbers in details, it's better to look at how is the evolution of the exports in food and beverage. And you can see also from the numbers, the effect of the free trade agreement and the increasement of these numbers in those specific sectors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula, for that insightful presentation. We are going to talk a bit about the opportunities at the end of the webinar, so we'll come back to you then. Can we please invite Mario Vargas from Peru to tell us a bit about the work and the organization, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara, and thank you for the invite. Thank you to the ACA for this opportunity to talk a little bit about Peru. We are quite new in Australia. We set up the office in February of 2018, so we just started, and we have a free trade agreement that is quite new. Started in this year at the beginning of the year. So there are a lot of things that were happening during the last month. So the Trade Commission of Peru in Sydney promotes investment, the expansion of business relationship between Peru and Australia, and Peru as a sustainable tourism destination. We are a government agency in charge to promote and to ensure the growth of companies internationally. We do this through a global network in 30 offices to support Peruvian businesses in over 50 countries. We have like a different aims working here. So the first one is to identify the best market for Peruvian products and services. We do market research. We do the things that the trade offices normally do. We work with the statistics, but not only that, we try to understand the culture of each country. For example, we know that Australians prefer to eat fresh food in comparison to preserved food. So we understand that the consumption of the Australian consumption is very strong if we talk about fresh food. And another activity that we work with is we promote investment. For example, in the case of Peru, we are very dedicated to perennial crops. We are among the 10 top food supplier of the world. We are very focused to be in 2024 among the fifth countries in the world. We have competitive labor costs, special labor laws related to the horticulture sector, a very good weather condition in the whole coast, 20 free trade agreements that we can reach almost 60 countries, etc. Opportunities for Australian businesses. There are opportunities in my country because we are developing a fast-growing economy during the last 20 years. Our GDP is comparable to the Vietnam's. Our population is over 31 million people with a strong middle class income. Peru demands Peru's demand the high quality agriculture products, and this is very important for the Australian export companies. We are very keen to look for quality and for better products. Australia.
Mario, this is extremely exciting, but I'll have to leave a bit of the fun for the discussion itself, because I know there is a lot to talk about Peru, and I will give a bit more space when we get to the discussion. But all the slides from The presenters will be available after the webinar. And the trade associations that we have just presented are supporting organizations for businesses, and it's wonderful to know that there's this environment to support Australian businesses and vice versa. May I ask now our business guest, Carolina Echenique, please, to join us and tell us a bit about your innovative business, Tika Chips.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to ECA and Austrade Pro Chile for this opportunity for this invitation of sharing my experience and also to talk to expand the richness of our people in Chile. The first issue is Sea Farms is my company. It's a young and innovative company which I started as a crazy venture in the garage of my own house. Yes, like one of those university case studies that you have probably heard before. Today, after just 10 years, we have revolutionized the Chilean snack market, and we're going for much more. So next, please. We created the first artisanal snack made from native and exotic vegetables, all from the south end of Chile. They're made just with real and 100% natural ingredients, varieties that were never used before by the industry, nothing artificial, innovated from its inside to its outside. It's natural colors, vegan, gluten-free, no additives, fair trade, etc. How we produce this revolution, it's interesting. We change paradigms. Why? We change how the packaging was working in Chile. We change the quality of the product. We introduced new concepts like gluten-free products, no additives, no preservatives, no colorants, nothing artificial in our snack brand company. We rescue and preserve new varieties of a lot of potatoes that are produced in the south end of Chile in an archipelago called Chiloé. That is really interesting because we have 285 different varieties of colored native potatoes. So this was the first company to get knowledge and of the really value of these new varieties. We empowered people. We try to expand. No, please don't change my presentation. We empowered people to connect, to develop new areas, and to give opportunities to local and basic agricultures to be part of the chain of production. We develop a new industry, and we outrage, that is the most fun thing, we outrage the huge multinational snack providers in the region because we totally create a new niche, a new possibility of business. Just being myself and a few more, we expand, and now we have almost 10% of the snack market in Chile. Now we have the veg chips lines that is composed with the 7 products. Next, please. Then we have a popcorn, natural herb popcorn without oil or any kind of artificial flavor. It's really successful. Next, please. Then we have Tika Nativas. Nativas mean like native. And then we have Tortica. This is a special brand that is made from quinoa and hummus. So it has been really successful in the lunch market, and it's really a new product for us. Next, please. Then we have the cereal. We change totally the concept. We moved from snacks to cereal, and we introduced this new concept, totally natural, first new granola in Chile without any kind of sugar or unhealthy ingredients. Thank you. That's the crackers. That's another line of products, totally natural, no gluten, totally free ingredients and fair trade. That's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Carolina. That's absolutely fascinating. We look forward to hearing more from you very soon. Andrew, can you please tell us a bit about your business?
Certainly. Thank you, Tamara, and thank you, ECA, for having me here today. Yeah, we would love to share our experience with you and also to learn from other people as well and what they've been through in their journey. So my name is Andrew Panyanamong, and I am the founder and CEO of Pro Nature Food, which was, you know, an idea started 4 years ago, and I started 2 years ago. Fortunately, we are still in operation, and we are blessed with the growth that we are experiencing by the month. You know, expanding our product range has, I suppose, supported that growth as well as, you know, some essential marketing. So we started this venture, you know, from our passion of products, you know, that should be natural, so that they are healthy to the body and the mind. And, you know, for general well-being. You know, we also wanted to support, you know, farmers and producers who are doing the right thing in the form of, you know, practicing sustainability farming practices, because, you know, we can produce millions of tons of food, but, you know, there's no point in doing that if we are going to destroy the planet at the same time. So the products we look for has to be, you know, friendly to the planet, you know, that we all share. Now, I met Mario 2 years ago at a food expo in Darling Harbour, where he had a stand promoting Peruvian products. It was exciting to speak with Mario at the time, because he was able to introduce us to all these products. And, you know, we know Peru has amazing products that has been around for, you know, thousands and millions of years. As you can see, Peru is a super producer of a family of superfoods, and they can produce these superfoods sustainably with a lot of health benefits that are vegetarian, which is another health benefit. So we are currently importing, and the products are already featured on our website. You know, products that, you know, even myself, you know, haven't heard of before. If it wasn't for Mario and his team, we wouldn't have been able to discover about these, you know, golden berries or lucuma or maca and the camu camu. So it was a great experience to have this conversation about these Peruvian products with Mario. So we are looking forward to just discovering more products from Peru and Latin America through this free trade agreement. That's all for now. Thank you, Tamara.
Excellent, Andrew. Thank you so much. It's fascinating to hear all the stories, and I look forward to learning a bit more about you all. So let's get into the core of our discussion. As you all know, Australia is an open trading nation in the Asia-Pacific region. We have a network of over 14 free trade agreements that encompass more than 20 countries. And according to the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, DFAT, Australia trade creates 1 in 5 jobs in Australia, and foreign direct investment 1 in 10. Now, trade and exports are critical for our economy, and we have seen how paramount they have been during the COVID crisis. And Australian companies with the current business situation around the world are also starting to rediscover and navigate new markets. And LATAM comes as a good option, a safe option, considering Australia has free trade agreements also with both Chile and Peru. So can I get ProChile from Peru to Paula and Mario to share in your view beyond what you already shared, and what are the key opportunities that the Chilean and the Peruvian market offer Australian exporters, and why do you think that is the case? Happy to start with Paula or with Mario. Just your high-level thoughts on this.
Thank you, Tamara. Well, in general, of course, even though our focus is to promote the export from Chile to Australia, we can see opportunities for companies that want to approach the Chilean market. In general, our organic production is not very high in terms of consumption. So I could highlight organic products, other healthy snacks or beverage, not like compete to Tika, of course, because Tikas are the best. And also maybe some milk alternatives. We are not very big in those kind of products. So I think if I could highlight some of the products, I will go in that direction.
So in the organic and healthy sort of food and beverage space. What about you, Mario? Is Peru giving similar opportunities, you think?
Yeah, I feel that Australia can provide beef to Peru, also maybe cheese, butter, delicatessen food, ready-to-drink cocktails, beers, that I see that there are a lot of products available in the market, and not only to export, but also to make some beers in Peru, almonds, wine. So I feel these are the products that I can identify as a good opportunity to produce. Yeah.
Excellent. Diane, from the Australian business perspective, which you are really embedded on, what is the perception from Australian exporters on the opportunities and also the challenges of going to these markets, Chile and Peru? We know that Australia is very strong in the trade with our Asian business partners, so to speak, but what about going a bit beyond? How do you feel it on the ground from Australia?
I think, thank you, Tamara. I think Australian exporters have not really investigated the countries of Chile and Peru as much as we would like them to. I think the free trade agreements have opened up a great deal of opportunities, and though we do trade very strongly with Chile, and Peru was only, as we know, was only just sort of become a free trade partner in February this year. The opportunities are quite good. I think if we look at Chile, the food and beverage area it can be very strong, and I'm obviously talking about exports to Chile. I know the opportunity for products to come back is very strong as well. But if we look at the food and beverage area for Australian exporters to Chile, I think we really do have some great opportunities in the medium level food and beverage area. We have snack foods, milk, and I think that's been mentioned already, but the alternatives, and along the line of what Paula was talking about, the organic areas and the food sector that looks at alternative foods, so the gluten-free. And I think Carolina was your food, Tika chips have all of those attributes, the vegan and the gluten-free parts to it as well. But I think Australia has an opportunity to be part of that market in Chile in particular. Some of our ready-to-cook foods, our ready-to-eat meals, we're quite advanced in that technology. Now, that doesn't mean it's an easy market to enter. And Paula, you put up the MyCorp slide a little earlier in your presentation. There are very strict rules and regulations, and there's very strict and labeling laws at the moment that have just come in. So it's important for any exporter to any country, in particular Chile and Peru, to understand those rules and regulations, and that'll be talked more about I'm sure in the actual training section of the FTA work that we're doing. But with Peru, opportunities are very similar, but I also think with Peru, the opportunities are for more of some of the larger agricultural products. So not necessarily wheat, but the more advanced pulses and specialized grains and ag tech type products that we are in Australia. It's probably one of the things that we do very, very well. Not one, we do many things very well, but it's an area that we do achieve very good high levels of wellness in those products. So the specialty pulses, as I mentioned, I don't think that that we have put enough attention, as you said, Tamara, in the introduction to this question. I think that it's now time with the Chile free trade agreement, the PAFTA free trade agreement, and the fact that both Chile and Peru are also, they haven't come into force yet in that free trade agreement, but the TP11, as I call it, they're partners to that, and I don't know the timing that it will be that they may come into that free trade agreement. The opportunities are quite strong for Australian exporters in the food and beverage area into those two countries.
Thanks, Diane and Paula and Mario, and to Carolina and Andrew, as businesses on the ground, you, Andrew, doing importing and getting products from Peru, and you, Carolina, exporting your products out of Chile. What do you see as the opportunities and the challenges for you? Is it about the geography, the cultures, the nature of the products? Are we competitors as markets? Is it brand awareness? What are you experiencing on the ground in trying to do business between either Peru and Australia or Chile and Australia? Happy for you to start, Carolina.
For instance, I see opportunities in the regulatory barriers that we have between the two countries. It's incredible that we share a lot of FTAs with our other countries. We see the potential that we can share in our economies in that. We have one challenge that is cultural barriers that we share. I think that TICA values are more sync with cultural and market trends of Australia, more even than in Chile, because you really gave the value of organic or gluten-free, as Jan was talking, fair trade and all the other things that are more shared in other parts of the world than in LATAM already. I also see really challenge thing. It's a competitive market. I admire how many different products are available in Australia right now, but we have a common problem that I think it's really like something that we share really close. That is the geographic distance. Australia is really close to Europe and Asia, but it's really far away from us. As the same as we do, we share a short distance to LATAM, but a really long distance to Europe and Asia. So I think the challenge is also an opportunity of this geographic distance. We could make a special bond between Chile and Australia as a port to enter the Asian market. It's more friendly to connect through Australia to Asia. I export my products to China and now to Japan. So it would be really interesting to find more connecting dots on that. Another important thing is the challenge of the awareness of the brand. It's not easy to connect the marketing, understand how Australian investors or importers focus on your own product as you wish they do. So I would say that that the biggest challenge for Chile or for my company is to try to identify which is the proper and the best marriage that we can do with an Australian importer, and find all the different attributes that you need to focus in the market of an importer.
Market. Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you,
evangelize. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you. Andrew, you are already doing this Peru, Australia, and I'm sure you found a line of products that you were interested in. How has it been? It's been easy, not so easy? What has been your experience on the ground?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, look, we are very excited to be doing trade with Peru because Peru has a unique advantage where it can naturally grow superfood and to grow it in a very sustainable way. And Peru can produce other products as well, such as coffee and grains, including quinoa. So, of course, we would prefer to support our own local producers and farmers, but, not every country can produce everything by themselves. So we have to reach out to other markets. So it's been a great discovery to meet Mario and to do trade with the companies over there that share the same values as us.
How has the Australian consumer received the Peruvian products, Andrew? Have you got a good market reception for the products and a good sort of interest from Australia?
So, yes, of course. Yes, sure. So it has attracted, a lot of interest. People have been asking us questions about what is it exactly, because they haven't heard of these exotic name before, and what they can use it for, and what kind of dishes or smoothies that they can make from these, and the health benefits. So we've been getting a lot of attention and interest of these products. So the challenge is to introduce these new products into the Australian market, because Australia is predominantly a Western society where they enjoy a lot of fast food. But with more, marketing awareness and education, I'm optimistic that these healthy products will only continue to grow.
To grow in the market.
Yes,
That's super interesting. And following from that, and as we're focusing our discussion on the food and beverage industries mainly, free trade agreements actually try to tackle those and support those industries very much. So as you know, Australia has over 14 free trade agreements, some bilaterals and regionals, and they have helped businesses like yours, Carolina, Andrew, in maybe creating opportunities of market entry, market awareness, and reduction of tariffs in some products. But at the same time, they create challenges, as they're not, the benefits don't accrue automatically, and businesses need to do a bit of work behind the scenes, learning what FTAs are, do they apply for me, what are the regulations, and so on. So with that context, can I ask Paula, you mentioned before that the Australia-Chile FTA was signed back in 2009, right? It's been kind of we had over a decade of experiences and all. How did it change from the ground, the experience? Has it opened doors beyond food and bev? And how do you see this moving forward? Like 2 key points, if you want to share with us.
Yeah, well, in Canada, in general, there are, the issues are in general associated to these sanitary measures. So that we are an economy open to, an open economy with a lot of free trade agreements and exporting to worldwide, a major producer of many food and beverage. So in general, we have this, that's the major issue to move forward, to convince that we have a very good and solid, robust system to manage the sanitary conditions in the production. But also we have, the expectations are related to essentially to increase the exports, even though the numbers sometimes go ups and downs because this is a worldwide issue. But also we can see the increasement of the amount of products. We have more than 450 products exported from Chile to Australia, and the amount of companies, more than 300 companies, which is, it's very good for the internal economy.
That's super encouraging in a way, despite challenges. Mario, what about you? You have a new free trade agreement just in force from the beginning of this very interesting year. We know it has been very disruptive for international trade overall. What has been the reception of this agreement, and have you seen more traction from people like Andrew and others in an interest in Peru?
Yeah, we have been working trying to sort out the phytosanitary issues and permits that sometimes is a difficult thing to manage. But we have something new. We have been working with the Department of Agriculture in regards to the homologate some certificates from Peru. If we talk about prawn, we just started like at the beginning of the year exporting prawns to Australia, and this is something new, and we are very proud to see some new numbers, and this is something very interesting for the food service industry. Now that is needs to trying to manage better competitive cost.
That links me to Diane. We at the Export Council work a lot around food and requirements and phytosanitary regulations and certificates of origin and so on. How do you see this from the Australian perspective? Is there room for us to engage better with Chile and Peru on these aspects? What are your thoughts on this relation in the food and bev?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, we've got to realise too that Australia is probably one of the most strongest biosecurity countries in the world, and the rules that we have in Australia, we expect that when we send goods to anyone or goods coming to Australia, that those rules are met. And I don't see Australia, and I don't see Chile or Peru that should alter on their requirements in any way at each end. But it does make it a bit hard for Australian exporters to go into other countries, depending on the rules there, and vice versa, which is also important with the free trade agreement. It works both ways. It's not just us exporting somewhere from Australia. So I don't think that we will see a relaxation in a lot of the rules, but what I do hope will happen in the future is a streamlined system that allows that to work a lot better. So things like the digitalization of documents, which has come about through COVID-19, a lot of countries are now accepting electronic documentation. We're working actually with the Department of Agriculture, hopefully to ensure that we don't revert back to manual documentation, that we continue to use electronic documentation. But just to make a fine point, there are many exporters that have succeeded in Chile and Peru, and I can name a couple of them quite openly. So Bega cheese is exporting there. Tim Tams are sold in Chile. I'm not sure if they're sold in Peru, but they're sold in Chile. So there's obviously an opportunity for exporters to go through those systems and to be able to meet the requirements. So I don't see that the requirements issue. I just think, like anything else in the world of trade, one has to understand the processes when moving across a border to another border. And that's not about whether it's Chile or Peru, it's about understanding that process.
Yeah, that's a very key point. Thanks for that, Diane. And Andrew, Carolina, as a business yourself, you have to take a lot of decisions, commercial decisions mainly. How important are free trade agreements of FTAs in that decision-making process for you to decide, well, I want to do business with that market or not, or there's something on the background only? Would love to hear your thoughts on how relevant have been for you so far and what has been your experience.
Yeah, sure, Tamara. I would say that are crucial FTAs for us. I would never consider to expand a new exportation of Tika brand to a country that doesn't have the FTAs. I think it's really mainly conversation to start, because we can compete. We can compete in prices, especially in products that are so like they have so much to offer, because it's not another kind of chips. It's not a typical snack. It's a value product that needs to be understand, and because it's a higher price value. So it's really important to try to compete fairly with the other products in the region and the other imported products in the region also. So I think the free trade agreements are really important in every sense of the word, not just because they allow you to be competitive, they also have all the regularities, and they have shared all the similitudes or differences and challenges between the two countries, so they know, and they know what to expect. So the rules are clear, everything is more regulated, and it's ideal entrepreneur. We're used to develop and to step forward the problems as an entrepreneur personality. We love to share different experiences, but it's amazing what a FTA, free trade agreements, could do to a small company at the beginning of their experience. We can have the opportunity to think in another market, really in the principles of our experience, and not to need to postpone it or to find more experience in the way to experience exportation to Australia. So I think they're really important.
That's a great point, Carolina. Thank you. And following from that to our trade commissioners and Diane. And Carolina, where do you get your information about free trade? How do you do the research yourself? You have someone in your company, or is something that organically grows? Do you go to ProChile or someone else in Chile to get the support in getting the knowledge or understanding? How has been that process for you? I think we have Andrew back. Hello, Andrew. We were missing you for a second. I'll come to you in a second after Carolina. So how do you get that, as a business, that knowledge on free trade and the business impact in your case?
Well, yeah, Tamara, the beginning was a little bit of an accidental way of experimenting all the difficulties or the challenges that first exportation could take. But actually, ProChile has been really close to us. I have always been in contact with them, or trying to find me some opportunities of business in other countries. And also, I tackle with the proper importers that we were talking before. This export journey have different angles, but I also use the internet, of course. Then ProChile, most of the time, they're really like open to share their researchers or their information. So I would say that Match Pro Chile, yeah, Match Pro Chile is my guideline.
Your go-to. That's very interesting to hear, because we have in this year we have also learned from businesses that get the knowledge and support from associations like DCA or trade associations like Pro Chile from Peru. Andrew, in your experience, where do you get a knowledge, understanding, and decide if an FTA is important for your business or not from? Do you go to Dr. Google, or do you go to, in this case, you have mentioned you have this great interaction with From Peru as a gate opener, but what else is that as a business you do to decide if an FTA is important for you or not?
Yeah, so we're an online retail store, so we're very product-based. So the products have to, meet our criteria in terms of, I suppose, where they come from, how good quality they are, and how natural they are. I first discovered these Peruvian products at an expo a couple of years ago. So in terms of bringing the products to Australia, has been made easier by having the right contacts, and the perfect contact in this context has been Mario, who is the Trade Commissioner of Peru. He has been supportive and facilitating the process in bringing the products to Australia. He's been able to provide us, with information of these products and how to order these products. So he's been the enabler to connect us with the producers in Peru. So it's in this sense, it's more about having the right context and having the right contacts and knowing who to go to that you can trust and that's reliable.
Excellent. So this element of the right contacts or the right ways of opening seems coming more frequently, which is very much what we perceive. I'm sure, Diane, you agree with the companies that we work with at the Export Council. And we could be discussing for the rest of the day, but may I can just ask you all if you have like that one tip of advice for our listeners, businesses, entrepreneurs, individuals, what should they do to succeed in doing business between Australia and Chile or Australia and Peru? What will be that one thing that you would share with them? Maybe we start with we would love to hear from all of you. Andrew, do you want to start?
I'll start. So my quick piece of advice would be just to start. Even if you have a small idea, just get started, and then over time, that will grow and grow. And during that journey, you'll discover new contacts, new products. New opportunities to, promote your business and to promote yourself. And, the world stage is a wonderful stage, as we all know.
Excellent. So just do it. It's like Nike, just do it. What about you, Mario? What would you say, like a one piece of advice?
If you want to import a product or call the trade commissioner or trade commission office to get to know if there is any buyer mission or trade show, or if you want to export to Peru, maybe you should you should look for a partner who knows all the regulations related to food and to know how to get into the market.
Excellent. Carolina, your word of wisdom. I think you're muted, Carolina.
Sorry for that.
Thank you.
I think it's important to be a transparent and connected company business. It's really important to be able to have a strong business and strategy in the back, and to give confidence to your importer or exporter, depending on the case. I would say to be a connected company, be a value company, and try to search what you can do and you can offer better. It's important for us to share the problems that we have with the ECAs of Chile or the Pro Chile in our case also. But I would say that that sometimes the entrepreneur companies of both sides take the low fruit first. That is your own business in your own regional country, but they also have like they're a little bit frightened to expand or to take the next step of exporting. I would say that that it's important for you, the ECAs or Pro Chile or our ECA in Chile, to give confidence to the entrepreneurs to be able to cross that small line and become an exporter. That is not that complicated, and give that opportunity.
So again, take that leap of faith in a way. Paula, what about you?
Yeah,
one tip for businesses.
Well, we're in a pandemic situation, so I think it's key to open for association. In that line, sometimes one country or one company can provide some ingredients, and then for an innovative new products. And in that, I will link with our events, because we are this year full of online business matching. Some of them we have been working with Peru as well as a Pacific Alliance member. So we have in this month, October and December, we have specific areas for food innovation in December, and berries, pisco, and seafood, and different varieties. So be open for association and contact us if you need that partner.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paula. Diane, to wrap up, one piece of advice after your many years in the trade industry in Australia.
Well, I agree with everyone, but I actually feel, and I have to say this because this is what we speak about all the time at the Export Council, is that yes, go for it, as Andrew said. Carolina, just do all the things that you mentioned as well. Talk to the different organisations. Mario and Paula, everyone should be working directly with your organisations and looking for the trade missions and the exhibitions and the opportunities. But put it all together into a plan and do it step by step. Don't just look at going to Chile or Peru without understanding the opportunities and the negatives about what might happen if something's not looked at correctly, such as the talking food and beverage, as I talked earlier, the food and labelling rules in different countries, the quarantine biosecurity rules in each country, the food standards on top of those biosecurity rules, the duties and taxes and the free trade agreement benefits or non-benefits. Or business plan, taking everyone's view, putting it down on paper, that's great, but work out each line as you go through it so that you don't, it's a risk plan that you need to mitigate that risk of every step of the way. Opportunities are great and they need to be taken. So Andrew, I go back to your point, go for it, because if you don't go for it, you'll regret doing it, but with a plan. Thank you.
Excellent. That was a very good way of wrapping up this conversation. I again want to thank Andrew, Mario, Diane, Carolina, and Paula. And I also need to thank my colleagues, Alexandra Everett here at the background, and Stephanie Harder as well from the Export Council, who have worked endlessly and tirelessly to bring this together, and also the online training programs. And as my daughter says, teamwork makes the dream work. So thank you very much to both. And thank you again to all our panelists and our listeners. We will share the slides and also the contact information for our speakers. The very best of luck to all of you. Keep doing awesome business, and to the trade associations, keep supporting businesses so Australia can not only thrive, but connect more and further with the Latin American markets. Thank you very much. Have a good day all, and contact us as the ECA, info@export.org.au if you have any questions or any comments, or you want to be more informed about how to succeed in these markets. Thank you. Until the next time.